So, in the previous lecture on stoichiometry, I have introduced to you the information that can be derived from the balanced chemical equation. Now, let us see about the gas mixtures. Most of the gases that involve in metallurgical processes or metal extraction and refining at high temperature, they follow ideal gas behavior. So, in fact, what I am going to write is the ideal gas law, and as all of you know, that is pressure into volume, that is N, R and T. R is the universal constant, T is the temperature and N is the number of moles. Now, this is also known that 1 kg mole of any gas, 1 kg mole of any gas, it occupies 22.4 meter cube expressed at 1 atmosphere and 273 Kelvin. From equation 1, we get V upon N, that is equal to R T upon P. Now, this equation suggests that at any given temperature and pressure, at any given temperature and pressure, volume per mole, that is V by N, volume per mole or number of moles in a given volume of gas, or number of moles in a given volume of gas is same. Now, that is sometimes you may be required some application. Now, coming to the mixtures. Now, in gas mixtures which made up of ideal gases, each component in the gas mixture follows the ideal gas law. So, for ith component, of an ideal mixture contained in volume V at temperature T, that is equal to P I into V, that is equal to N I into R T. Now, note here this P I is now the partial pressure, P I is the partial pressure. Now, from here we can derive the Dalton's law, that is the total pressure in a gas mixture, that will be equal to I is equal to 1 to N P I. So, this is the Dalton's law for partial pressure in ideal gas mixture. So, now say for example, if P 1 into V, that is equal to N 1 into R T, then P 2 into V, that is equal to N 2 into R T, and similarly we can write down P 3 V, that is equal to N 3 into R T, such that P I, ith component V, that is equal to N I into R T. If I call this equation as number 3, and if I put for nth component P n into V, that is equal to n into R t, and then I can write down now V summation of I is equal to 1 to n P I, that is equal to sigma n I is equal to 1 to n into R t. So, from here we get V into P t, that is equal to n t into R t, where n t that is equal to total number of moles, of gas in a given mixture. Now, say by 3 and 4, from 3 and 4 we can get P I upon P t, that will be capital P I upon P t, that will be equal to N I upon N t. That means, we can further write down that partial pressure of component I, partial pressure of I, that is P I, that is equal to P t into X I, where X I is the mole fraction, X I is the mole fraction of component I, and that is equal to N I upon N t, which you can obtain by using equation 3 and 4. So, this relation is sometimes very important. So, if you want to find out the mole fraction in a gaseous mixture, that is a very simple relation, but still I thought it may be an important thing. Also, one thing to remember, for ideal gases, volume percent that equals to mole percent. Many times this information will help in solving the material balance problem, where gas is produced because volume percent is given. So, volume percent and mole percent are equal, and that concept may help in solving the problem. Now, let us take an example. Say calculate the partial pressure of CO2 and H2O in a gas mixture produced by complete combustion of methane in air. Now, very simple, we can write down the say CH4 gaseous phase plus, let us take it now, 2O2 in the gaseous phase, that is equal to CO2 gaseous plus H2O, rather 2H2O gaseous phase. Now, you can calculate both phases, say the partial pressure of CO2 and H2O when it is combusted in air oblique in pure oxygen, in pure oxygen. The equation which I have written is for the pure oxygen. If you want to write the equation for air, then for air it will be say CH4 gaseous plus 2 O2 plus 3.76 N2, because 1 mole of air it contains 3.76 moles of nitrogen. So, accordingly this is 1, then you have CO2 plus 2H2O plus 7.52 nitrogen. So, that will, because air contains nitrogen, so that will also come out. So, we can calculate the mole fraction. For example, if I take the equation number 1, this I write equation 2. So, if I take equation number 1, so very easily I can calculate say x CO2 that is equal to N CO2 upon N CO2 plus 2H2O. This is by equation 1. Similarly, X H2O that will be equal to N H2O divided by N CO2 plus 2 H2O. Now, if I take for example, equation 2, then I can find out say by equation 2, X CO2 that will be equal to N CO2 divided by N CO2 plus 2 N H2O plus 7.52 N N2. Similarly, X H2O can also be find out. This you can do yourself, and one can determine this way the partial pressure and the mole fractions, they are interrelated. So, now let us go to excess and limiting reactants. Excess and limiting reactants. And limiting reactants. Now, the exact amount of reactants in any process can be determined by writing a balanced chemical equation or by writing stoichiometry of the reaction. In many cases, one or more reactant in a reaction can be supplied either excess or lower than required by the stoichiometric relationship. So, the reactants which are present in the smallest amount than stoichiometric, they are called the limiting reactant. So, I will write for you reactant present in the smallest stoichiometric amount they are called the limiting reactant. Now, the meaning of the limiting reactant is that it is because of the presence of a smaller amount of the reactant, the reaction will correspond according to the amount of reactant that is available. That is, you have taken an amount which is less than the stoichiometric amount. So, this particular amount, this particular reactant will control the reaction. That is what mean by the limiting reactant. The other reactant is in, that is the excess reactant. So, we can also put it reactant supplied in excess, supplied in excess than stoichiometric amount for complete reaction, that is they are called the excess reactant. So, what is important here to know that from an stoichiometry you know the amount of reactant 1 and reactant 2. Now, if reactant 1 is less than the stoichiometric amount, that you call limiting reactant. Then if the reactant 2 is in the excess, then that is called the excess reactant. How well I will try to clear when I solve a particular problem. But here the limiting or excess, that is with reference to stoichiometry of the reaction. So, we can also find out percent excess, that is equal to moles in excess upon moles required for complete reaction. Moles required for complete reaction. Complete reaction into 100. So, that is how you can determine the limiting and excess reactant. Now, next important is the oxidation reduction reaction. Oxidation and a reduction reaction. In fact, oxidation reaction, it involves loss of electrons from an atom, loss of electron from an atom, whereas reduction reaction naturally gain of electrons, by an atom. Now, oxidation and reduction reactions, they occur both simultaneously, so that electrons are conserved. Now, say for example, if we consider reaction, say cementation reaction. What is done in a cementation reaction? You deposit a copper from a copper sulphate solution by adding iron. Once again I repeat, in the cementation process, copper sulphate solution is taken, iron files are added and copper is deposited. So, this reaction can be written, say in a copper sulphate, you have say in copper sulphate, copper ions are as Cu2 plus. That means, so what the reaction would be, say Cu2 plus, it will gain 2 electron, that will become Cu, and similarly iron, that will lose 2 electron, Fe2 plus 2 electron. So, total reaction we can write down Cu2 plus, say in aqueous solution, plus iron which you added as a solid, that will become copper, that is as a solid, plus Fe2 plus in aqueous solution, Fe2 plus in aqueous solution. So, what is here in oxidation reaction, besides number of atoms are conserved, electrons are also conserved, that is also important, and both the reactions, say oxidation and reduction, they occur simultaneously. You see Cu2 plus 2 is equal to Cu, that is a reduction reaction, whereas Fe, Fe2 plus 2E plus 2E, that is the oxidation reaction. So, in writing the electrochemical method of expressing the chemical equation, one has to see that electrons should also be conserved. Now, with this I have given you enough the concepts on stoichiometry. You must be knowing already, because it simply involves a basic chemistry where you try to write the balanced chemical equation and try to derive as many information as you can get. So, with this concept now, what will I do? I will first of all give you some problems, and then we will proceed to solve those particular problems. So, here I have formulated some of the problems for you. What will I do? I will read first of all the problems that I am going to give you. Some of them I will be solving, and some of them I will left to you for the solution. I will read the problem. Problem 1, a pyritic ore is reduced with hydrogen according to the following reaction: FeS2 plus 2H2, that is equal to Fe plus 2H2S. The ore contains 15% of solid inerts. In the metallurgical terminology, in an ore which is non-valuable portion, they are called gangue. That is why it is written in the bracket also gangue. 25% excess hydrogen is used. Now, remember, stoichiometrically you need 1 mole of FeS2, you require 2 moles of hydrogen. So, in a reaction 25% excess hydrogen is used, and the cinder, that is a solid residue, remaining contains 5% FeS2 by weight. Calculate the volume of furnace gases at 400 degrees Celsius and 1 atmosphere per 100 kg of ore charge. Now, remember, you have to calculate the volume of gas at temperature of 400 degrees Celsius. So, that point is important to note. Second problem, a limestone is analyzed as calcium carbonate 93.12 weight percent, MgCO3 5.32 weight percent, insoluble matter 1.5 weight percent. A, how many kg of calcium oxide would be contained from 5000 kg of limestone, and how many kg of carbon dioxide will be produced. Problem 3, here the iron pyrite, that is FeS. Well, iron pyrite is written in both ways, FeS2 as well as FeS also. So, 4 FeS plus 11 O2 is equal to 2 Fe2O3 plus 8 SO2, that is the reaction occurring between iron sulphide and oxygen. Now, calculate volume of SO2 in meter cube at 300 degrees Celsius, and remember 750 millimeter of mercury formed by 100 centimeter cube of oxygen. This is expressed as 1 atm and 273 Kelvin. Problem 4, antimony can be produced according to the following reaction. The reaction is given to you. Now, you have to calculate the limiting reactant, percentage excess reactant, the degree of conversion of Fe to FeS, percent conversion, and the yield when the process in which 800 grams of Sb2S3 is mixed with 300 grams to form 250 gram of antimony. Here you will note that one of the reactant is lower than the stoichiometric proportion, and that will clear the concept of limiting reactant. Problem 5th, an annealing furnace uses a fuel oil containing, its composition is given to you, fuel is burned, 25% excess air. Calculate the fuel gas analysis assuming complete combustion, repeat the calculation assuming that 5% of the total carbon is burned to CO only. Problem number 6, the copper ore contains, the composition is given to you, copper mineral is CuFeS2 and sulphur is also present as iron pyrite as FeS2. The rest of the ore is gangue containing no copper, sulphur and iron. That is the clue to solve the problem. The ore is roasted until all the sulphur is removed. The following reactions are taking place, the reactions are given to you. The amount of oxygen is supplied is 150% in excess of that amount demanded by the equations. So, you have to find out A, B and C, weight of each mineral, oxygen required and weight of Fe2O3 and volume of SO2. Problem 7, aluminum is produced by electrolytic decomposition of Al2O3. It is a very standard and common method for production of aluminum from bauxite. What is being done? From bauxite, first of all Al2O3 is brought into solution by leaching, and then Al2O3 is electrolyzed as such, because Al2O3 has a very high melting point. So, in order to make an electrolyte, you try to dissolve in cryolite, and in cryolite Al2O3 is soluble. So, that is what the process is. So, aluminum is produced by electrolytic decomposition of Al2O3 using carbon anode. The oxygen set free when the Al2O3 is decomposed and combines with a carbon at the anode. Assume that 85% of carbon forms CO and 15% forms CO2, then you have to find out the chemical reaction, kilogram of Al2O3 and cubic meter when 300 kilogram of aluminum is produced by one cell. So, that is problem number 7. The problem number 8, it is typically the reduction of zinc oxide by carbon. A zinc retort is charged with 100 kg of roasted zinc concentrate carrying 50% zinc, present as ZnO. Reduction equation is given. Now, some of the problems, it says 1/5 of the ZnO remains unreduced. The zinc vapor and CO pass into a condenser from which the CO escapes and burns to CO2 as it emerges from the mouth of the condenser. The CO enters the condenser at 300 degree Celsius and 750 millimeter of mercury pressure. So, you have to find out volume of CO, the weight of CO, volume of CO2 and the volume and weight of air used in burning the carbon monoxide. So, these are essentially some of the problems that I am giving to you for solution. Now, let us see the solution one by one. So, now let us see the solutions of the problem. Let us take it for example 1. If I take problem number 1, it says you have 100 kg ore. Now, 100 kg ore, we have 85% FeS2, that is also you can write down 85 kg FeS2, and well, problem says 15% inert. So, we can also put it 15 kg inert. Now, problem says 25% excess oxygen and 5% FeS2 remains unreduced. So, FeS2 reacted, that will be equal to 85 minus 4.25, that will be equal to 80.78 kg, and that will be equal to 0.67 kg moles. Now, here I have used the atomic weight, iron and sulfur. Iron I have used 56 and sulfur I have used 32. These are the things. So, now straight away I can write down the equation, that the equation would become 0.67 FeS2. Mind you, I am using 25% excess. So, that will be equal to 2 into 1.25 into 0.67 H2, that will be equal to 0.67 iron plus 2 into 0.67 H2S plus 0.335 hydrogen. So, now straight away you can find out from here, I will find out volume of furnace gases, that will be H2S and hydrogen. So, volume of furnace gases that will be equal to 1.675 kg moles. Now, here remember, in the problem the equation was given it was given stoichiometrically, that is 1 mole of FeS2 react with 2 moles of hydrogen. The problem says 25% excess. So, I have directly written in terms of the excess hydrogen. So, remember when there is excess hydrogen, then the stoichiometric amount. So, you get hydrogen also in the furnace gases. So, volume of furnace gas is known. Now, we can find out, say for example, you can find out volume. We have to find out, I believe, at 400 degree Celsius and 1 atmospheric pressure. So, that volume will be equal to, you can find out yourself, it will be 92.49 meter cube. This is at 401 atmosphere pressure. If you want to find out volume, let us take at 273 degree Celsius and 1 atmosphere, then it will be 1.675 into 22.4 meter cube. Please multiply and get the answer. Now, the solution to the problem 2, I am just giving an answer, you can solve yourself just by writing the stoichiometric balance equation, that is CaCO3 that is equal to CaO plus CO2. Now, you can write down. So, I am giving an answer A, the answer is 2607.4 kg and B 2048.6 kg. Now, here I have used atomic weight of calcium 40, oxygen 16, carbon 12. Similarly, I will give the straight away the answer for question number 3. I hope that you solve yourself, and the answer for question number 3, that is equal to 1.55 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter cube. Now, let us go to the problem number 4 and get a feel of the limiting reactant, because the problem says the production of antimony by the equation which is given. You have to calculate for a process in which 800 gram of Sb2S3 is mixed with 300 gram of iron to form 250 gram of antimony. That is what is given to you in this particular problem. Now, first we have to find out limiting reactant. So, let us address now how to find out limiting reactant. Limiting reactant, that is the first we have to find out. Now, limiting reactant is the one which is deficient than stoichiometric amount. So, let us see now. Now, say what we see from the stoichiometric reaction, that is 340 gram of Sb2S3, it needs 160 gram of iron, right, with 3 moles of iron. So, now here I am using say molecular weight of iron, that is equal to 56. Now, some you may use 55.85 or 56, that does not matter. So, that is what the stoichiometry says. Now, we are having say 0.8 kg of Sb2S3 that will need 168 upon 340 into 0.8, that is equal to 0.395 kg iron. Now, in fact, I can also write down 340 gram of Sb2O3 needs 168 gram of iron, or I can also say 340, I can also say 340 kg Sb2S3 needs 168 kg of iron. That is why I straight away multiply by 0.8. So, here 340 kg Sb2O3 needs 168 kg of iron. So, we get now 0.8 kg of Sb2O3, that you require 0.395 kg iron stoichiometrically. Now, see the available iron is how much? Is only 0.3 kg. So, the answer is, so iron, hence iron is the limiting reactant. Iron is the limiting reactant, because available is only 300 gram or 0.3 kilogram. You require stoichiometrically 395 gram or 0.395 gram. So, naturally iron has become the limiting reactant. Now, second you have to find out percent excess reactant. So, the percent excess reactant, that is the part B, we can find out, that means 300 upon 56 moles of iron can reduce 1.7857 moles of Sb2S3. That is what given, 300 gram of iron. So, it can reduce only that many moles of Sb2S3. So, excess reactant, naturally when iron is a limiting reactant, so another its reacting partner Sb2S3 has become in excess, right. So, the excess reactant which is here Sb2S3 in percent, that is equal to 2.353 minus 1.7857 divided by 2.353, that is equal to 24.1%. So, that is what because this 2.353 moles you will get 800 gram of Sb2S3 is given, divide by its molecular weight, you get 2.353. Now, the third thing it says the degree of conversion of iron to FeS. So, we can now find out C part. Say 2 moles of antimony, it requires 3 moles of iron from a stoichiometric reaction, 3 moles of iron. Therefore, 250 gram antimony is being produced. So, 250 upon 122. So, I am using the atomic weight of antimony, that is equal to 122 moles of antimony would require 3.074 moles of iron. You can do that calculation and you will get moles of iron. So, degree of conversion of iron to FeS, that is equal to say moles of iron converted to FeS divided by moles of iron supplied. Of course, You have to multiply by 100 if you want to get in percent, otherwise it will fraction, that does not matter. So, you can substitute the values and you can find out. I am giving the answer, that is 57.38%. Now, if you want, say, the next part, it says about the yield, and yield that is equal to 250, which is produced, 574 is available by SB2S3, multiply by 100, that is equal to 43.54%. So, this particular problem in fact clears the concept of limiting reactor. You have seen here that stoichiometrically requirement of iron was more than available. We calculated 395 grams of iron would be required by stoichiometry, but available was only 300. So, that is why iron has become the limiting reactant. So, that clears the that should clear the concept of limiting and excess reactant. So, that is what the problem number 4. Now, let us see the problem 5 quickly. Problem 5, the statement of the problem is already given. So, for example, if you consider say 100 kg fuel oil, 100 kg fuel oil, and this contains say 16 kg hydrogen and 84 kg carbon, that is what given to us. So, we have to assume now is burned with 25% excess air. So, again you will be writing down the reaction C plus O2, that is equal to CO2, H2 plus half O2 is equal to H2O, balance it, use the proper moles and get those equation, and I am straight away writing down the analysis of flue gas that is being produced. So, CO2 that will be equal to 7, I am writing in kg moles, H2O that will be equal to 8, nitrogen that will be equal to 51.7, and oxygen that will be equal to 3.75. So, total will be 70.45. If you want to write down in percent, percent will be 9.9, 11.4, 73.4, 5.3. So, that makes 100. So, you can write down, I just write for you for carbon, that is 7 moles of carbon, 84 upon 12, 7 moles of carbon plus 7 into 1.25 O2 plus 3.76 N2, because that is the composition of air. So, you get 7 CO2 plus 32.9 nitrogen plus 1.75 oxygen. Similarly, you write down now for hydrogen, I am not writing. Please write down and see that you get this particular thing. Now, it is said, another part said, when 5% of the total carbon is burned to CO, right. So, when 5% of the carbon is burned to CO, we know the amount of carbon. Again we can write down the stoichiometric reaction. So, for B part or for the part say when 5% of total carbon is burnt to CO, I will write the stoichiometric reaction, that is 7 C plus 7 into 1.25 O2 plus 3.76 N2, that is equal to 6.65 CO2 plus 0.35 CO plus 32.9 nitrogen plus 1.925 oxygen. Similarly, you can write down for hydrogen. Let me write down for you for hydrogen 8 H2 plus 4 into 1.25 O2 plus 3.76 N2, that will be equal to 8 H2O plus 18.8 N2 plus 2 O2. So, that is how, I mean, you develop your own technique of writing the equation. Do not borrow the technique which I am giving, take it as a guideline. So, from here we can find out again the composition. So, the gases will consist of CO2, CO, nitrogen, do not forget to include oxygen because excess here, and H2O. So, straight away I will give you the percentage. Here it is 9.4%, here it is 0.5%, nitrogen is 73.2%, oxygen is 5.6%, and H2O is 11.3%. So, that is the solution for the problem number 5th. Now, let us see the problem number 6th. Now, problem 6 says the copper contains, the copper ore is there where the analysis is given, roasting of the ore is done, and you have to find out the weight of each mineral and the gangue and so on. So, let us take it part 1, that is we are given say 1000 kg ore, we are given 1000 kg ore. So, copper in this ore is 70 kg, right, and this 70 kg copper, that is we can find out from here CuFeS2, that will be equal to 184 upon 64 into 70. So, the CuFeS2, that is equal to 201.25 kg. Now, here I am using atomic weight copper 64, iron I have given already, but well let me write down 56, and sulfur is 32. So, CuFeS2 I know now. Now, I have to find out amount of Fe, because the copper ore will contain CuFeS2, FeS2 and the gangue. Now, I have to find out FeS2. FeS2 how can I find out? So, first of all I find out sulfur in CuFeS2. Sulfur in CuFeS2, that will come out to be 70 kg, but sulfur in ore, that is given 36%, that is 360 kg. So, the remaining sulfur will combine with iron, because there is no other element which will combine with the iron. So, that way you would find out what is the amount of FeS2. So, sulfur combined with iron, sulfur combined with iron, that will be equal to 290 kg. So, from here I can find out the amount of FeS2. Amount of FeS2, that is equal to 120 upon 64 into 290, that is equal to 543.75 kg. Now, weight of gangue, because the problem says gangue does not contain any copper, sulfur or iron, it is 0. The amount of copper, sulfur and iron is 0 in the gangue. So, gangue will be equal to 1000 minus 201.25 plus 543.75. So, that will be equal to 255 kg. So, the weight of each mineral CuFeS2 is 201.25, FeS2 is this one, and gangue is 255 kg. That is the answer for the part A. Now, the answer for the part B, say part B you have to find out oxygen required in cubic meter. So, moles of oxygen, I will give you straight away the answer, because the similar problem I have solved earlier. So, I will write down, say I will put it, say moles of oxygen, moles of oxygen theoretically required, that will be equal to 16.012, and that is equal to 358.6 meter cube expressed at 1 atm and 273 Kelvin. Now, this is theoretical, but it is said there is excess amount. So, the actual volume of oxygen, actual volume of oxygen, that will be equal to the excess amount, the excess is, how much is the excess? 150% excess, that is the actual amount of air is 250%. So, actual amount of oxygen, that is equal to 896.65 meter cube, again expressed as 1 atmosphere and 273 Kelvin. You can find out this both way, either you can find out 358.6 plus 1.5 into 3.58.6, or you multiply 358.6 by 2.5, whichever way is convenient to you. Now, C part says volume of air, that is 4270 meter cube. D part says what is the weight of Fe2O3. Now, you know the reaction. So, you can find out, I am giving you the answer, say weight of Fe2O3, that is equal to 450.4 kg, and volume of SO2 that is equal to 252 meter cube expressed at 1 atm and 273 Kelvin.